What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and it's already time for a new clan in Bloodline Heroes of Lithas. It is the Warbringers. So today I'm going to break them down and do an analysis. But first, download Gemstone Legends, a mobile RPG puzzle match game. Use the link in the description to start with free stuff, including a bonus hero. Alright, so the Warbringers are a warrior clan in Bloodline, and that makes me really excited because warriors have notoriously been underpowered in this game, and so I've been looking forward to a powerful one so I can slot warriors into my teams, especially in those events that require a warrior or two sometimes, and there's just not a lot I have leveled up, so I'd love to level them up if they're even halfway decent to have that kind of flexibility. But let's take a look at the clan trait first, and do take note that this is just an epic hero, so of course the numbers are going to be higher. I just want to see what the clan trait does so I can talk about if this is a trait worth going after the companion for. Alright, so it says, first of all, it's called Obliteration, and it says, each attack reduces the target's constitution recovery by 5.33% for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 4 layers. And that's pretty good. Personally, I don't know if it's one worth chasing, especially because it says target's constitution. Now, if it said all opponents or something like that, I'd get a lot more excited about it. I think this is a good clan trait. I'm just not sure that you need to go, like, get the companion to level up as high as you can to be putting level 22 traits on everybody. That remains to be seen, I think, and I could imagine metas where that might be important down the road, but that's just speculation at this point. It's not needed right now. So it's good. It's good on these warriors. I wouldn't necessarily go putting them on others, and whether you get the companion or not probably has less to do with this clan trait than just being able to maybe get one of the Warbringers and take it up to 15 stars. So is it worth it to do that? Let's check out the individual heroes. I'm going to cover the male first because I've noticed there's already a lot of hype about him from people who have been reading through them. So let's see what this hype is about. Juggernaut Onslaught is the first sort of like passive ability here. Lands 3 quick upstrokes at the current target. So take note, whoever he's facing, each dealing damage equal to 160% of the caster's strength. Okay, 3 strokes at 160%. You probably want to put brutal on this guy. The last upstroke knocks the target away and marks them for 5 seconds. Now, this is where I get really excited. When allies attack a marked target, their strength is increased by 15% and they recover 200 energy over 5 seconds. So that's cool. I like to see that text on here. However, it remains to be seen how this is actually going to play out, because if he's going to knock them away, but then you need others to attack who he knocked away to gain an advantage, and there's 5 seconds for it, meaning that if you're knocking him away, your own champions need to take some time to actually get to the target. The text looks nice, but I worry that it's actually conflicting with itself. It's just something I took note of, but these were literally just released before I started making this video, so who knows how it'll actually look, but we need to actually see that on film. Take note, when you see playtesting videos, let's see how the 3 hits and the knockback works, because I'm afraid it's going to conflict, but we don't know until we see it. Starry Sweep is the ultimate. Swings the spear and draws a dueling circle that lasts for 8 seconds and knocks back all enemies within the circle except the duel target. Interesting. While in the dueling circle, the caster receives 85% less damage from the enemies other than the duel target and becomes immune to control effects, gaining 70% more attack speed. Each attack deals additional damage equal to 5% of the target's max constitution. That's really cool. That is a different way of dealing damage. I mean, you know, once in a while we see a champion that does something like this in this game, but this is actually a relatively rare way of dealing damage. Extra damage cannot exceed 1500% of the caster's strength. Whenever an enemy enters the dueling circle for the first time, they will be stunned for 4 seconds. Now that's cool. Okay, so again, I'm seeing more text here that I like, but even more so now because there's even more knockback happening. You're going to have to really build a team that works well in conjunction with all this knocking champions around. Now, I think what is really cool is that for any team that you're facing where the champions that get knocked away try to come back, they're probably going to come into the circle and get stunned. So he is kind of a CC champion here. And to me, dealing this damage based on max constitution, and increasing the attack speed, by the way, it means to me he's probably going to deal a ton of damage. Now, it's going to be to one target. That worries me. I think the strongest champions that deal damage in this game right now are the ones that are doing AoE types of damage to at least 2 or 3 heroes at one time, if not the entire opposing team. So this is a lot of concentrated damage, and I think that can be good in certain circumstances if you build the traits around him, if you build the team around him. But he's going to need support. I don't think he's one of these champions like the Bloodcraft champions or like female Davala whenever she was first released that you can just slot in on any team and say go. But let's take a look at the last ability here. Sensing weakness. Warbringers can spot the target's weak point in a brawl and take advantage, dealing additional damage equal to 12% of the target's max constitution, stunning them for 2 seconds. Extra damage cannot exceed 1500% of the caster's strength. A 10-second delay happens after the first weak point is spotted. After that, the delay is reduced by 2 seconds for each subsequent spotted weak point, down to a minimum of 4 seconds. Switching the target will reset the delay. All right, that's a lot of text. But basically what's happening here is, again, you're getting a lot more concentrated damage based on max constitution, which is really great. You get some more stun, more CC, that's really good. Notice the cap that's being put on the damage, both here and here. And I think this is because of what you get with female Trevane against bosses, like raid bosses and such. They don't want it to just come in and absolutely wreck bosses like that. Like they're just trying to put a little bit of a cap on it so it's really, really good but not overpowered. And so take that into account. So I mean, overall, there's a lot of text here, but you know, let's break it down into its simplest part. How's this going to do in battle? I'm just guessing because I haven't seen it yet, but I think that he's going to have a big impact on what you see on the board as far as folks getting knocked around. He's going to deal a lot of damage to like one target, a lot of damage to one target. Think of like the male Bloom, for example, that just kind of goes back and just wrecks a target, right? But this is going to be more in the front than in the back, like the male Bloom. So I personally feel, and I might catch flack for this, I think he's overrated. I think people are getting really excited about him. And I think when they start playing with him, he's going to look amazing because he's going to be pushing champions all over the battlefield. But I don't think he's going to do all that much. Again, another maybe unpopular opinion, but I don't think the male Samir is as good as people think he is. I mean, he comes onto the board, and the reason why I think people think he's really good is he looks like a bowling ball that just comes on and knocks champions back across the board like this guy's going to do. In fact, this guy might even be more impactful visually. But notice I'm saying visually. What is that really doing? It's moving champions around, but if you don't take advantage of that, is it really good? Because you have to take advantage of it for it to be good. Otherwise, it's not dealing damage. Whoever deals the most damage wins, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And that's even true on like control types of teams. Like if you're a control team, you're maybe not doing as much damage typically, but you're making them do less, right? So you got a guy here. I do like the control features of this guy. I do actually think he has the potential to be a little more impactful and damaging even than the male Samir. But I think both him and the male Samir create a more or bigger visual effect than what they're actually accomplishing. However, again, single target damage is going to look really good. I just don't think in the meta right now, single damage target or single target damage is all that impactful. You need to be impacting the entire board at the same time, either through some kind of control effect or some kind of damage effect or something like that. And he does okay. In fact, he does better than okay. He's good. He's good. I'm not going to rag on him too much. I just think people think he's the next greatest thing, and I'm not sure he is. I think he's fine. But that's just my opinion. Hey, I could be proven totally wrong. Pop in the Discord right now. Show your videos. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see. Of course, you know, if I do summons, which I haven't decided yet, you know, maybe I'll be able to test them out. But let's go check out the female and see what she does. All right. First up, Skypiercer. Flicks all enemies within a fan-shaped area into the air, another control effect, and stabs them 4 times, dealing a total damage equal to 480% of the caster's strength. Meanwhile, the caster recovers Constitution by 20% of the damage dealt. Stabbed enemies have their Constitution recovery reduced by 40%. That's on top of the clan trait, mind you. And won't receive any buffs in the next 4 seconds. Okay, that's fine text. Like, I like a lot of what's going on here. That's a lot of damage for something that's not an ultimate. And also, recovering Constitution, I think, is really powerful in this game, especially when you get into those events that last a long time, like 2 minutes or whatever. You know, think like Raid Boss, think, you know, I don't know, just any of the Guardian Defense, whatever. When you need to last for a long time, this kind of recovery is really, really important. But even in regular, like, arena matches or like Valley of Conquerors or Guild Conquest or whatever, being able to recover Constitution is important to keep your teams going in the action, right? If you can last just a little bit longer than your opponents, that's really important. Okay, and also what you have going on here, it might not be noticeable in videos. I think it's a little more subtle than the male. But being able to reduce Constitution recovery of others by 40% plus on top of the clan trait could be really good in certain metas. All right, the ultimate, Shield of Verdict. Quickly enters Courageous Stance for 2.5 seconds, during which the caster won't lose Constitution. And becomes immune to control enforced movement effects. Unbelievable. When Courageous Stance ends, deals damage to all enemies within a large fan-shaped area. And the damage is the sum of base damage equal to 620% of the caster's strength. That's a lot of damage. And additional damage equal to 40% of the total damage received during the Courageous Stance. So you definitely want to be throwing her into the action. In fact, opposite of the male, you kind of want to be drawing them in so that whenever she ultimates, they're all dealing damage to her. Because then she's just going to explode with damage after that. I think she has the potential to deal a lot of damage like the male does. Just in a very, very different and almost opposite kind of way. All right, let's take a look at the last one here. Shield Smite. Once per 6 seconds, shield bashes all enemies within a large... Oh, sorry. This is just regular fan-shaped area. Dealing damage equal to 250% of the caster's strength with a guaranteed critical hit, which is damage x2. So you can almost double that percentage for one of the hits. And reducing their attack speed by 30% for 5 seconds. So again, I'm seeing a lot of things on this champion overall that I like to see as far as like a great combination of damage and control effects. You've got some control effects pretty much on all the skills here. And that includes like reducing recovery and things like that. You know, not being able to take damage and or being able to be controlled herself is really cool. In addition to that, she kind of has a little bit of everything going on here, including that AoE damage I said I wish that the male had. So this ultimate right here that is dealing damage in a large fan-shaped area, 620% of caster strength, and additional damage equal to 40% of the total damage received during the Courageous Stance. Hey, anybody who's in there is going to be dealt the damage, unlike with the male that's dealing a lot of concentrated damage to like one target. Not only that, but he's pushing them back. She's drawing them in. So if you're drawing them... Well, she's not necessarily drawing them. If you can draw them in, if you can pair this champion with ones that draw them in, you can also create other synergies too. Like, for example, female Dvala, who I know has fallen out of favor with a lot of people. I think unnecessarily, by the way. I don't know why people are just like feeding her away. That makes no sense to me. Because she's great even on like a second team or a third team if you're not going to use her in the first team. But anyway, that's a side note. Hey, if you can put like a female Dvala and her together and get another champion that is going to corral champions, and I'm thinking like, think female Drapala, who like pulls champions in. Maybe you put a couple warriors together like this, concentrate the opponents, and just absolutely crush them. I personally think the female is better than the male. I think the male is very, very good. Like male Samir good. So obviously a great hero in my opinion. I think the female is actually going to be the one who turns out to be the best option when it comes to consideration for your first team even. Although I'm a little hesitant to say for the top tier players, the upper players who have a lot of champions, I'm hesitant to say she can actually fit into a first team. She's probably not going to fit into my first team. But I could see a certain meta where she does. I think she's going to deal a lot of damage to a lot of different opponents. She's got good control features. Also the fact that she's just not taking damage. That's shades of female Dvala, right? Yeah, she's great. She's excellent. I like the female better than the male, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments where you disagree with me, where you agree with me. I'm always curious to hear from the community. And of course, this is speculation, so we're all just speculating together until we get to test it out. If you want to watch videos like that, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.